Hello, Monroe School District, and welcome to segment 4 of Taking the Fear Out of Canvas. I'm so excited for today because I think you're really going to see the power of Canvas come through in this lesson. But before we get started, I just want to take a minute and I just want to really acknowledge the risk that you took and the challenge you took by jumping into this course and by learning how to use Canvas, especially right now in this time of great change. And then here's another big change. But you've done it, and I'm just so proud of you. So I just want you to take a minute and grab a cup of coffee and just think about yourself for a moment and the risk that you took and how proud you are of yourself. You are awesome. Okay, so I can't stand it. We have to move on. All right. So today, like I mentioned, I want to share with you the power of Canvas. And I'm going to do that by sharing with you a couple of different classes that I have on my dashboard. Tomorrow, we are going to import a course template into your classes. What does that look like? That's what I'm going to share with you. So we have a couple of different templates, and these are meant to make life a little bit easier for you and a little bit easier for your students. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a template class. And what a template class does is it has already set up a format for you. It has already organized some information that you're going to want to put into your class. And it's already there. You just need to go in and make the adjustments to your personal class, your personal content. So before I get started on this, again, this feels like really bulky on here. So I'm going to click on these 3 little lines so that I can get rid of that. And it makes it feel a little bit easier for my eyes to be able to look at and not feel overwhelmed. So this is a template. And this is a template that's probably more geared toward an elementary classroom. Let me tell you why. So when you get this template, you can organize this. You'll be able to readjust this and make it your own. You can change the banner if you want to have a different picture here, or you can keep it. Niall and I have been working on putting this together, an elementary one as well as a secondary one, so that you can pop in and you can make some minor adjustments, make it yours, and it's ready to go. So you don't have to spend the time building this, because that's really the overwhelming piece. We want you to be able to spend the time putting the lessons in. More importantly, spend the time being able to work with your students. So in a nutshell, let me just show you what this is going to look like. And I'm going to do this from a student's perspective because I think the power of this really comes in the way a student can use this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Student View. And I use this tool all the time, and I highly recommend it if you want to see what this is going to look like for your students. So you notice that that navigation bar that is so long and bulky for you as a teacher, we've made it so that we just have some real basic pieces in here for students. So they aren't seeing that. It's not really overwhelming. It's just a few of the important details that they'll need to be able to click on. Notice that Zoom is in here. Zoom is built into Canvas. And so last week in a Bits and Bytes, a message went out on how that you use Zoom within Canvas. So if you're to a point where you're ready to start incorporating that into your classes, I strongly suggest you go back and look at that video, and it will tell you how to use Zoom within Canvas. But it's here, so your student would just click on it and be able to see the times of the Zoom session. Okay, so, but anyway, so your student's going to pop in here, and all of this is going to be changed to make it more personalized for you. They come in, they see a welcome. You could change this up every week if you wanted to. So, hey, this week, this is what we're going to be working on, or however you want to make that so it's a welcoming message for your students. But I think the power really comes down here. So when a student opens up this home page and they want to know what the work is for the week, it's outlined right here. So it's outlined by, here's your math assignment, here's your language arts assignments, here's science, social studies. However you want to set this up, you can adjust these. So you'll be able to go in and edit these and adjust these icons if you want to change things around so that social studies is every day. Whatever, you can do that. But the beauty is this. So it's Monday and a student wants to do their math assignment. So even a kindergartner, if they can recognize the icons and know the days of the week, they would be able to come in and they know, okay, I want to do math. I'm going to click on the math icon. And oh yeah, I left this on purpose because I wanted to share this with you. Not available yet. Here is, let me leave student view. Here is a really important, here's an important message in Canvas. So there's been a couple that I've told you. One is make sure you understand the global navigation bar. Come back here for things you need. If you get lost in your class, click the home button. Make sure you save things. And the next piece I'm going to add to that is if you want students to see something in Canvas, it needs to be published. And so, and that's really great for lots of reasons. You're able to put content in ahead of time that students can't see, only you can see because you haven't published it for them yet. So I'm going to go ahead. Here's the course status. Right now, this course is unpublished. I'm going to go ahead and click on the publish button. And now it's published. It's in green, which means that students can now see this course on my dashboard. They wouldn't even be able to see my course on my dashboard if I didn't have it published. So if I wanted to unpublish it, I could click right here and then students don't see that work. Okay, let's head back. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to my student view again. Now let's see what this looks like when a student clicks on the math assignment for Monday. Uh-oh. Well, anyway, that's oops. Anyway, a student would be able to see that assignment. I'm going to have to go back and reset some, I guess, some different pieces of this. That will happen to you, by the way. So no worries. You just go on the back end and you say, okay, what do I need to do? I probably, as a teacher, I'm going to leave my student view. I probably don't have this assignment published. So I'm going to go ahead now on my screen. I'm going to click on it. Let me show you what this would look like for a student. So they're going to click on this. Look at that. See, it's not published. So I did that on purpose just so that you would see what happens. It happens to all of us all the time. So you just have to make sure it's published. Now, if I went into student view, they would be able to see this. But anyway, when they click on the icon, now they're going to come out and here's their assignment. And so it really takes the fear out of Canvas for your students as well. If they just come to the homepage and maybe you have a picture of yourself in here, but just some nice welcoming words from you, and then here's your schedule for the day. Click on the icon, go out and do the assignment. When they're done, they just have to click on the home button, and it will bring them right back to this page again, so that so they can move on to the next one. So a template is really helpful for a student to be able to easily get to where they need to go, but also for a teacher. Now all you have to do is you say, okay, I need to put in my math lessons, and then I need to link those in into the homepage. And we'll talk about linking those assignments in a future lesson. So just a really, I hope, easy way for you to be able to add content into Canvas. Okay, so this is one I would say is probably more geared toward an elementary classroom, though you could customize these any way you wanted to for a secondary class as well. I'm going to head out to the dashboard really quickly and show you a different template. And this is the secondary template. And so it's not quite so elementary-ish. The pictures are a little bit more geared toward a higher audience. So you can see down below that there's different icons that students can click on just like they did before, but they're organized a little bit differently. And at the top, you have areas where you can customize. Let me scroll down just a tiny bit. A couple of things, because students in secondary, they can use their phones to access Canvas as well. So there's a Canvas app for students. They can do it through a browser as well, but the app works much better if they're on a phone or some kind of mobile device. Here's a guide for students on how to use that. So if they're unsure because things change just a little bit, here's a tool for them to be able to access Canvas using their phone. So this would be what a student view would look like. Let's go ahead and look at the student view. Okay, so students are going to see this, and then if they wanted to go out to their learning modules, this is the other difference between the way elementary is set up and the secondary is set up. Students are going to work more through a module. Click on here, and it takes them out to some resources, and then the module number 1. And module number 1, the way that Canvas sets this up is it's organized by, I would say, units. And so this is where I would put, maybe it's chapter 1, or maybe you have a specific theme that you're working on for a month or a week. And so you could set this up according to that. And then underneath, here's all the assignments that the students are going to do. Again, you can put assignments in one at a time. And unless it's published, a student won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to see everything. You can publish a whole module if you want to give students the ability to see the whole thing and to work through at their own pace. There is a feature we'll cover in a more advanced class on how you can set it up so that students have to finish one assignment before Canvas gives them permission to move into the next assignment. So a lot of tools they can have here. Okay, so that would be the secondary template. Again, tomorrow I'm going to show you how you can go out into the Commons and be able to, student view again. I'm going to show you how to go out into the Commons so that you're able to pull in these templates right into your classes. And it's really simple to do. And then it's there for you and it's ready to go. And I think that's going to take a lot of the burden away from you and your students in using Canvas. Okay, I do want to show you one other option in Canvas because this is a really powerful tool. And so in our DigiTools class right now, this is taught in 7th grade at both Hidden River and at Park Place. And we have a class that we have built. And I tell you what, thanks to the work of Susie Swanigan and Meg Davis at Park Place, they are really rock stars. This course has been built with content for an entire semester's worth of learning. And so the content is already in here. Now, I don't want this to feel overwhelming to anyone. I just wanted to show you what something can look like once it's done. And so these are all the assignments for an entire semester are built here. The teacher sees this, students don't see this. But the course has been built through modules. And so when you think about Canvas, you have your home page, and that was on the template. I showed you the home page. And then on the back end of it, when you start going inside of Canvas, it goes through, you can set your assignments up through modules, which are like units. And then in each of those units, you can add in assignments and discussions and quizzes and different pieces to support that module work. And then you publish those to your students as you want to have it published to your students. And it's once you kind of understand the framework behind that, it's pretty easy to start adding the content and making this work for you and your students. And so I know that may feel like a little bit of heavy lifting right now, but I do want to show you what this looks like. So if you're looking at these modules right now, here, I'm going to close that one. These are the different modules that have been built for this whole semester for the DigiTools class. And so these are the titles of the modules. These little drop-down arrows, when I click on here, let me go to digital citizenship. When I click on here, you're going to see here are the different assignments that students can get. Again, everything right now is unpublished. I can publish, if I'm working in modules, I have to publish a whole module. And once the module is published, then students are going to be able to see the assignments. If I don't want them to see these assignments yet, I want them to see only one, I can unpublish that as quick as tapping on a button, and now students won't see that work. They will only see the one that has been published. If I unpublish this module and leave this assignment published, just know students can't see this because it falls under the module. So the module has to be published before students are able to see the work that falls under the module. Another really big important tip for Canvas. So that's the biggest troubleshooting piece I'm going to tell you is that published piece. If students are having trouble accessing something, make sure it's published. Go in and check your publish button. Okay, so that's the organization of these modules. This class is set up right now so that it only is full of content. When you go to the homepage, you aren't going to see anything fancy and pretty like you saw on the template because this course is set up in a different way. And I want to share this with you because I want you to think about the possibilities of Canvas. So you'll notice over here on the right-hand side, there's a little blue bar. That's because this is a blueprint course. And let me tell you the power of this blueprint course. This course is one course created in Canvas, and Susie and Meg and I are the teachers of this course, and so we have input content. We're the only ones that can input content into this particular class. But then within the back end of Canvas, we can create associations with this class. And so notice over here, associations, there's 14. When I click on that, there are 14 DigiTools classes that are associated with this blueprint course. And so on this end, when I click the sync button, all of the content from this course gets pushed out to those 14 courses so that all 14 of those courses have the exact same content. So the power behind that, if you are a third grade teacher and you want to create some teamwork within your building, and your third grade teachers all want to have the same content, you can set up a course. You can all add the content into that course, and then we can make that course be a blueprint course, and then it can be associated with all 3 teachers' courses, and then with the click of a button, this content will be pushed into all 3 of those courses, so it's the same content. When it gets pushed out to those courses, you can push this out as often as you want to, and only the new content gets pushed out into that other course. Now, on the teacher's end, so it got pushed out to those 3 courses, or let's look back at our DigiTools. This content gets pushed out to those 14 courses, but yet Meg Davis has the ability in her DigiTools classes to make adjustments within her classes that have nothing to do with this blueprint. So she can make changes that nobody else sees. They're just adapted to just her personalized class only. And so there's, I think, a lot of power behind this. I think about middle school. So if you're a 6th grade ELA teacher and you're at Park Place and at Hidden River, what if 6th grade ELA teamed up and then everybody creates bits of content and adds it into this blueprint course, and then it gets pushed out? The workload is divvied up between lots of different people, and there's a lot of collaboration happening, and students at both schools are getting that same content. If you were interested in an elementary class across the district and you're a 1st grade teacher and you want to be a part of a 1st grade team across the whole district, you all could work together, create a class, divvy up the math lessons or divvy up the ELA lessons so that everybody is putting in one lesson. And imagine that's 15 lessons that are created, and each teacher only had to create one lesson. It's in here, it can get pushed, and now your time is more spent on helping students learn the content rather than building the content. So I wanted to draw your attention to this option because I think it can be really powerful. Now, I know it might be a little early to be putting this out there, so but I do want you to think about what that could look like for you in your building. So that's an assignment for today before we push this content out to you tomorrow into your classes, is how do you want to organize things? So if you want to create a blueprint course with yourself and other teammates, would you figure out today who those teammates might be? And you will probably create a Sandbox course, and you're going to put the content in there. You might push the template out to the class that your students see, but then we can blueprint that and sync all of those lessons to that class. So I hope that makes sense, but I really want you to take some time today and put some thought into the structure of what this might look like for you and your team in your building, or maybe you and your team on a wider district level. I would think that an algebra class that is taught at middle schools as well as high school, this could be a really powerful tool if everybody comes together and builds one course that's shared out to all of the algebra students across the district. So some food for thought. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you, just super exciting and powerful tools. So tomorrow when we import that template into your course, we're going to spend some time for you and show you how to edit the homepage and personalize it and make it your own. But as we continue on today, the other piece that I would like for you to spend some more time with is how to create an assignment. So Right now, let's go ahead and open up your Sandbox course. And in your Sandbox course, I would like for you to go ahead and click on Assignments. And like I said, when you get your template course, this is going to look a little bit different, but the creation of assignments is still going to be the same no matter what you do. So I just want you to see what this looks like and how to spend some time in here. So click on Assignments, and then you are going to head over to Add Assignment. I'm going to go ahead and pause while you open up your Sandbox course, click on Assignments, and then go to Add Assignment. And I'll see you back here in just a minute. Okay, welcome back. So now you have this view, and when you look at this view, it probably looks very similar to the announcement we created yesterday, right? This is our rich content editor, and this is going to be the same no matter what you are creating in Canvas. You're going to see this same toolbar, and it's going to give you very similar options. So this is how you will create an assignment for students to be able to view in your class. Let's go ahead and come up with an assignment name. Let's just say, we'll go with today's math assignment. Not very creative. Okay, and then within here, you might want to start by putting, however you set it up for yourself. What's the learning target? What's the standard that they're working toward? However you set that up, I would go ahead and put that out there first for students to be able to see. And then when you're creating your assignment, you have several options. You can type in text here. You could do something as simple as, I don't know, I'm going away from math now because this is easier. Write a paragraph about yourself. Okay, and it can literally be as simple as that. For right now, I'm going to keep it really simple because I want to show you some other things, and then we'll come back and we'll be a little bit more advanced in what we can include in that assignment. So once I have set up the assignment itself, then I have several things I need to do in terms of setting up the gradebook and pushing this out to students. And this part becomes really important, in particular at the secondary level, if you use Skywords for your grades. So as you come through, how many points would you like this assignment to be worth? You can change that. The assignment group, I want to spend a couple minutes here. This is really, really important if you sync your grades into Skyward. And yes, Canvas is as easy as one click of a button, and it will take your grades from Canvas and it will sync them directly into Skyward. It's such a great thing. No more having to, add your grades in. So easy. Okay, but let's look at the assignment group. So in here, you're going to be given an option to add different groups. A new group would mean, what do you want this assignment name to be? This needs to align exactly to Skyward. So in your Skyward account, maybe you have something out there called projects. However it's listed in Skyward, it needs to be exactly that same way right here. So if in Skyward it says project instead of projects, it has to be that way, or it will not sync that information the way you want it to. If it's just listed in there as assignments, you can put just assignments, or if it is abbreviated, maybe it's abbreviated as assignment. However you have that set up in Skyward, I can't stress this enough, it needs to say the exact same thing on the assignment group, and then you can add your group. If you are an elementary teacher, I wouldn't worry too much about this. I don't even know if you're going to want to be grading assignments. So I just wouldn't worry so much because you aren't syncing grades into Skyward. Okay. Display grade as, you have options here. So if you use percentages, if you use points, if you use letter grades, whatever your current grading scale is, you can set it up right here the same exact way. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at points. If you want to grade things as complete and incomplete, depending on how things are working right now with your school and how you want to be doing grading with online work at home, this is a great place to do this. You can, if you would want to give this assignment, but you don't want it to count toward the final grade, you can just click there and it will not add these points into a final grade. Submission type, this is another important one. I would say 95% of the time you are going to submit this as an online assignment. The other one you probably are going to use is on paper. If students are creating something at home and they're just writing things on a piece of paper at home and they're going to turn into you. For the most part, I'm going to say it's probably going to be online. Now, your online options, text entry. So the assignment I created up above, write a paragraph about yourself. I'm probably going to want them just to do it right here in Canvas. And so I'm probably just going to leave this as a text entry. If I wanted them to turn in a Google document they created, here comes the power. I'm going to click File Uploads, because then when it comes time for them to submit the assignment, they can click on File Up, or they can click on Submit, and it's going to give them an option for Submit via Google. And so they can pull in their Google document and it will submit that Google document to you. For right now, I'm going to use the text entry just to show you real quick how this is going to look. Okay, you have several options. These are advanced options. Ignore these. Group assignments, peer reviews, no worries about that. This is for secondary. If you plan on having this assignment sync into Skyward, this box needs to be checked. By checking that box, that's going to enable this particular grade to sync into your Skyward grades. If it is not clicked when you go to sync to Skyward, it's not going to work for you. So just if you want this to be included in Skyward grades, click it. If you don't, leave it empty. For right now, I'm going to leave it empty. A side note right here. This is where you can really differentiate content in Canvas. So you can create assignments and you can assign assignments to specific students. Or you can assign it to everyone. Right now we have everyone. So assigning them to specific students, that's content for a different, more advanced tutorial, which we will get to at a different time. For right now, let's just create an assignment for everyone. So now when this is clicked, it's going to be assigned to everyone. When do you want to have your due date? You can leave this blank if you want to, or you can put in, I want this due on April 15th. If you want to have this available for a certain amount of time and you want the assignment to no longer be able to be seen by students after a certain date, you can put that. You don't have to. I feel like that's more of kind of a college thing. And then there's other features, again, advanced. I wouldn't even worry about that. So again, I'm just going to go back through this really quickly because I think this is maybe one of the more important pieces of an assignment that needs to be done correctly. So when you're setting up an assignment, how many points do you want it worth? The assignment group. You can, right now it's put into this group. If you want a different group, you can add a different group in here. And then the more groups you start adding, it will remember those groups. So the next time you come through, you can just select that group. How do you want this displayed? If you want this to be counted toward the final grade or not. Submission type, like I say, 99% of the time you're going to submit it online unless you want them to do something at home to turn into you in paper form, then you would click that box. And then your options, for the most part, you're going to have a text entry, which I'll show you in a minute from a student view. If they're working out, doing something online, creating a website somewhere, or they're doing an ed puzzle something, and you just want them to put their link in to submit it by a link, you can put that as the submission form. Media recordings, we will get to that a different time, but this is how you can have students upload video. This is how I know that at the high school, Lisa uses this in her band class. So she puts an assignment up here and a media recording, so students click on that when they go to submit, and they can record themselves playing their instrument right into Canvas and submit it to her, so she can view them playing their instrument right there in Canvas. And then file uploads. This is where you're going to have a Google document be able to be uploaded. Okay, we're skipping over these things, not important. If you want these grades to sync into Skyward, make sure that's clicked. We're assigning this assignment to everyone in your class, and here's the due date. So I'm going to go ahead. I have a couple of options. If I want it published right away, I can click Save and Publish, and it saves me that hassle, or I can just save it. I'm going to save and publish because I want to go in and show you from a student point of view. And again, a student can only see this if this is published. So I'm going to head home, and I'm going to go to my student view. And from my student view, here's my math assignment that I just created. So as a student, I'm going to click on that. And from a student point of view, they're going to click on this submit assignment. Okay, and here was their assignment. And this is, remember I told you that it was just a text entry, really simple. All right, so I type in my answer. And notice students have this same rich content editor bar as you have when you create these assignments. So they can add video into here, they can add pictures, they can add different things as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and submit my assignment. So as a student, now you'll notice that my assignment has been submitted. If I want to resubmit it until I can continue, this button will show up here until this due date passes. As soon as this date passes and it turns to April 16th, I will no longer be able to resubmit my assignment. So, so I wanted to kind of share with you that big overview of assignments. I'm going to leave my student view. That big overview of creating assignments. Again, I'm going to come in here, go to assignments. I'm going to add an assignment. And this is where I can add that assignment, get my features, and once I publish it, it's available for my students to be able to see. I do want to share with you, when you're looking at the student view and you had submit by Google and you go into the student view to view that, if it's submit by Google, you won't be able to go any further because this is a Ghost student account that doesn't have a Google account. So if you're trying to submit an assignment as a student and you had checked on file upload for Google, that will happen. Okay, let's go in. I want to show you just a couple more things. So let's pretend we have an assignment name in here. Over here, well, let's go over to our power cord. And so if you wanted to submit an assignment to students that you had already created in Google, you're going to click on here and it's going to open up that document for you. You can just insert it right in here and then the students will see your document, only your document. They won't be able to make changes or anything to your document. It just makes a copy of it and puts it in there. Explore, if you're a math teacher, explore some of these tools. This Graph Builder is phenomenal. If you want to assign your students a Khan Academy assignment, they have lessons in there, K-12. You can go in and you can assign them a Khan Academy assignment right here. Skipping over a couple of things, a lot of teachers use Quizlet. I believe right now they have a free subscription for a month. If you're interested, you can do that. If you want to add TED Ed videos, if you have Vimeo videos, you can add those in here. Anyway, look through, and then there's YouTube. So there's a couple of ways, and I really want to draw your attention here. If you want to add a YouTube video, you can add a YouTube video. You can search for them and you can add them right here. And then this will put this just in your assignment. Really a nice feature, if you wanted to, let's say I was doing a Sphero lesson, I can type in right here and search within YouTube right through here. So I'm like, oh, that was the video I wanted. Okay, I want to have that video in there. It's going to add that video directly from YouTube right into my assignment. Isn't that so great? Now, if you were interested, though, in having this video for several different classes, my strong suggestion would be to go into your Studio tool. And remember yesterday or the day before we talked about adding your video into Studio. I would go into Studio, add your YouTube video into the Studio, and then when you're adding it into here, click on Arc and add your video that way. And that way, if you add it through your Studio tool, it's available for multiple classes if that's what you're interested in. So a couple of different options. I hope that wasn't confusing, but just to let you know, there's several ways that you can add things right here into Canvas. But all that to say, wasn't that really super easy? I love Canvas, so great. So, all right, I have done an awful lot of talking today, and I should pause and let you do this, but I'm going to give you an assignment. So what I would like for you to do today, and this is going to be part of your STEM work as well. So I want to chat for just a second about creating content online. Really, we really don't want kids having to sit in front of a computer screen for 8 hours a day doing content online. So important. That is, I don't know, I've spent more time on these couple weeks where I've been working from home. I've spent more time in front of a computer than I ever do on any given day. It's exhausting. So I think it's really important that we think that through with our students. What's the pedagogy behind this? They should be online for just a little bit, but how can we create something that they can do as an assignment offline? So I want to bring some STEM into this. Here's your assignment. I want you to take a plain piece of paper, and I want you to make a paper airplane. And as you're thinking about paper airplanes, your assignment is going to be the following. I want you to go create an assignment in Canvas, just like we practiced today. I want you to go find a YouTube video on how to make a paper airplane, so that if you were to give something like this out to your students, they could make a paper airplane, and they have instructions, because there's so many videos out on YouTube on how to make paper airplanes. And aren't your students going to love this? So they could make a basic paper airplane. I want you to make a paper airplane. There you go. And then after you have added into your assignment a video on how to make those, I just would like for you to take a couple minutes, and I want you to think about this STEM activity. So how could you take something so simple as students creating a paper airplane at home? What's the math that they could do with a paper airplane? So as a kindergartner, count how many times you throw the paper airplane, or I don't know, you guys know your content far more than I do. Measure the distance that the paper airplane goes. Create a table and give it a trial for 3 different times. And how far does it go those 3 different times? And then when you get into middle school, I'm sure there's some super great math concepts that form around this. How can you put angles into the mix? In high school, just make a connection. So that's the next part of your assignment, is figure out how could you make a connection between building a paper airplane and your content. Maybe it's the history behind paper airplanes, and students make one, and then they have to go use Britannica and research some history behind that. Or Boeing as a career. Maybe they could do some research on Boeing as a career, and airplanes, and make a connection. But that's your STEM assignment. So make a connection, and then create that assignment. Have a video on how to make one. Create an assignment, and then go ahead and publish this assignment into your Canvas class. Once you have done that, I would like for you to go out to the Google document that we've been working on this whole week. Keep working in that document, because on Friday you're going to turn that into me, and that's going to document the class. So I'm going to give you an assignment to do that. So if you go back out to that document, and I want you to take a picture of yourself holding your paper airplane, and then underneath there, if you would just write down a couple of different ways that you think that you could associate paper airplane with your content at home. Think outside the box. I can think of probably every single field out there how you could use this. And it gets kids doing some hands-on learning, and it gets them away from a computer. Then they can come back and they can share their learning with you in lots of different ways. So that is your assignment for today. I know it was kind of a lot today, so if you have questions, and particularly if you have questions about how to create an assignment, please join Niall for his live help sessions this afternoon at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and the links will be found in the S'more newsletter right underneath this video. So again, I just really, really appreciate you taking the challenge, and I just congratulate you, and I hope you congratulate yourself. This is a big undertaking, and look how successful you've been. So this is just going to be really great for our students. Thank you for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.